Hi there, this is Solid Sharon from Solid Sharon Films, and welcome to another backlog cleared video. Today's backlog that I've cleared is the 88 Films Italian collection. I don't have a complete collection, I probably never will, even though I'll probably pick up a few more titles in the coming years. Pretty much because they do have a few cannibal films, and cannibal films aren't really to my taste. I don't really have the appetite for them. I find them hard to digest. So I'll just go through the ones I have, just with a brief description. A lot of these films are probably 3 out of 5s, so I would probably wait if there's a sale, which there usually is for 88 Films every now and again, and pick up some titles that way rather than paying full price. But again, that's just me. Let me know if you absolutely love the Italian collection. And you can point out some films that you've seen and some films you like. So the first one is Spine Number 1 from 1975, Night Train Murders by Aldo Lado, which is a riff on The Last House on the Left by Wes Craven, but for me it's actually better than Last House on the Left. I don't think that film has aged that well. This is the same basic premise, but obviously happens on a train. You do get reversible artwork, which on that one seems to have a naked woman being eaten by a large woman, which strangely enough doesn't happen in the film. But that's a really good one for Spine Number 1. Spine Number 2 is The Blood-Stained Shadow from 1978 by Antonio Bido. And again, this is an interesting giallo. That's the reversible artwork. Again, another solid film, not a lot of extras in this one. Number 3 from 1974 is Spasmo, with the great cover and the great title by Umberto Lenzi. Again, this one's got a Q&A from Lenzi, starring Susie Kendall. This is a fun one which really takes off in the last 15 minutes. I think this is the one, yeah, it's got twins, I think. So the last 15 minutes just goes a bit bonkers. That's from 1974. Number 4 is Blast Fighter from 1984. So you have a few of these in the collection. This is Lamberto Bava, son of Mario Bava. Not as good as Mario Bava. You have these kind of cheesy action films. I mean, this is essentially a riff on First Blood. It looks as though it's set in the future or something, but it's not. It's pretty much just a guy in the woods. So it's nowhere near as good as First Blood, but it's entertaining enough. Number 6 by Lamberto Bava is A Blade in the Dark. And again, this is another fun giallo. This is an interview with Bava and the cinematographer. It's about a film composer and a couple of women disappear in his house. Number 7 is Anthropophagus. Anthropophagus by Joe D'Amato, also known as The Savage Island. This is a fairly gory one. Enjoyable enough, but again, probably a 3, starring the famous George Eastman, who's in a lot of Italian exploitation films. Next is number 8 from 1977, Hitchhike, starring Franco Nero. And this film is one of the most, or one of the nastiest films you'll ever see as far as misogyny. It's pretty disgusting how Franco Nero treats his wife in this film. It's David Hess who was in The Last House on the Left, and he picks up Franco Nero and his wife. Again, it's got an Ennio Morricone score, but it's really nasty and really not that enjoyable. Next is number 11 from 1976, Live Like a Cop, Die Like a Man, which I did a random review on this, probably in the first year of my channel. This is directed by Ruggero Deodato, who's obviously famous for Cannibal Holocaust. This is bonkers. It's a police story about these two cops that are just shoot first, ask questions later. They're always getting into trouble just for blowing people away. It is so much fun, and their boss is always shouting at them for like breaking the rules. It's just very silly, but it is so much fun, and it's got a great title, Live Like a Cop, Die Like a Man. Next is number 14 from 1981, The Very Strange Burial Ground by Andrea Bianchi. Yeah, it's very strange. It's a little zombie film. There's interviews, commentaries by Callum Waddell. It's very strange. There's a rather odd relationship between a young boy and his mother. Very odd. Next is number 16 from 1977. This is Mad Dog Killer, another bonkers police one. Starring Richard Harrison. It's a reversible artwork. Again, just completely barking stuff, but rather enjoyable. Next, again, is another barking police one by Umberto Lenzi. It's The Cynic, the Rat and the Fist, starring John Saxon and Thomas Millian, amongst others. Again, very daft. Very daft, but very enjoyable. Again, this has interviews with Thomas Millian and an interview with Umberto Lenzi. That's number 17. Number 19 is 7 Deaths in a Cat's Eye by Antonio Margheriti. The same names kind of pop up. This one's set in a Scottish castle, bizarrely. And the characters are all Scottish, even though they're Italian. Originally La Morte Negli Occhi del Gatto. That's from 1973. Another fun one. Number 20 from 1981. Rosso Sang. Or Absurd. This one actually has a nice booklet on the video the video Nazis. The video nasties. Yeah, this is Joe D'Amato. Asico. To kind of anthropophagus. George Eastman again. Next is number 21 from 1971. Short Night at the Glass Dolls by Aldo Lado. This is actually one of the best ones, I think. It has a really nice premise. A guy wakes up dead, essentially, in the morgue. He can't move, but he's still got his senses, and he kind of tells in flashbacks how he got here. Again, it's another score by Ennio Morricone. So that's the thing with these Italian collection films, even if they're not the best films, they usually have amazing scores, because Italian composers are just the best, basically. The amount of great work the Italian composers did in the 70s, the 60s, 70s and 80s is just ridiculous. Stars Barbara Bach and Ingrid Thulin. It's a really nice premise, and it's one of the better films in the collection, I think. It's a really nice premise. La Corta Notte delle Bambole di Vetro is its more catchy title. Next is number 23 from 1987. Enigma by Lucio Fulci. Again, this is typical Fulci. It's a bit of a mess, but has moments. This has a 77-minute documentary about Fulci in the 1980s. And again, you can watch it dubbed or watch it in Italian with English subtitles, or just in Italian if you can speak Italian. Not amongst Fulci's best films, but has its moments. Number 24 from 1979 is Beyond the Darkness by Joe D'Amato. This is a very strange one as well. A little bit of necrophilia and just the usual Joe D'Amato craziness. Next, from 1975, is number 25, Syndicate Sadists. Again, another crime one with Umberto Lenzi. And this is Thomas Millian giving a usual Thomas Millian performance. Is this the one where he plays a character called Rambo? Yes, I think this is the one where his character is called Rambo. From 1972, number 28, Amok. This is by Silvio Amadio. Again, this is a kind of slow one. Lots of nudity. Starring Barbara Boucher. There's a Q&A with her as well. It's not quite as lurid as the cover, but it's a fairly lurid film. Next, from 1987, number 29, Delirium. This is actually a Blu-ray DVD combo, which is actually quite rare. Again, that's just the fuller picture of the front cover. This one's a fun one, pretty much no extras. There is lots of nudity in this one, for not much reason. Number 30 from 1974, The Perfume of the Lady in Black by Francesco Barilli, starring Mimsy Farmer. I don't know who Mimsy Barber is. Mimsy Farmer, which is a nice little murder mystery. From 1992, one of the latest ones, or later as far as when it was made, number 31, Body Puzzle, with Joanna Pacula, remember when she was big, Lamberto Bava. Again, this one's solid. I wouldn't say it was great. Mysteria. It does have a nice premise though, about a killer trying to get the organs back from somebody who died, so they murder these people and take out their organs that were donated to them. It's a nice premise, perhaps not executed the best. From 1971, spine number 32, La Bestia Uccide in Sangfredo, or Cold-Blooded Beast. This one stars Klaus Kinski. That is all you need to know. Klaus Kinski is a psychiatrist. Come on, you can't ask for much better than that. This has some interviews. It has a commentary by the guy from mondodigital.com. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. This is directed by Leonardo Di Leo. It's Klaus Kinski, he's a psychiatrist, and murders are happening. What more could you ask for? Next, from 1964, one of the earlier ones, spine number 33, The Long Hair of Death, which again is one of the better ones in the series, I think, by Antonio Margheriti, starring the awesome Barbara Steele. Beautiful black and white. Lunghi Capelli della Morte. Yeah, it's gothic. It's a nice double bill with Black Sunday. There's a piece on the horrors of Antonio Margheriti in the extras. That's a really good one. Next, from 1988, spine number 34, Touch of Death, another late Fulci, which isn't that good, to be honest. But you have makings of and some interviews. For the Fulci completist. Next, from 1967, spine number 36, it's Django Kill, If You Live Shoot, by Giulio Questi, which is a very strange Django film, even by Django standards, starring Thomas Milian. There's lots of sadism and people dying in molten gold. I remember seeing this, I'm sure this was in Moviedrome. It's a bit of a mess, but it's probably one of the better Django films, just for its oddness. Then we have spine number 37 from 1971, In the Eye of the Hurricane, also known as The Fox with a Velvet Tail, by Joso Mario Forte. It kind of has the title of a giallo, but it's not really. It's more a kind of erotic thriller mystery. Good stuff though. Next, spy number 38 from 1977. Watch Me When I Kill by Antonio Bido, beg your pardon. This is a really interesting one. Again, it has a really good reason. It's one of the few giallos that is linked to the Holocaust. It kind of plays with expectations. Again, it's got an amazing score. Can't actually remember who did the music, but it is wonderful. I think it's Italian as the cat with the jade eyes, which doesn't really make any sense, but I guess it's a giallo, so it has to have an animal in the title somehow. It's really interesting. There is a bathtub killing, as there is in most giallos, but it's actually an old man who's topless, not a young woman, as is the case in 99% of giallos. It's a really interesting one. It's a slow burn, but the story's actually interesting. It kind of makes sense, and again, it is about a very interesting reason for the killings, which sometimes makes a change just from the crazed sex killer who had a bad upbringing as a child. From 1990, spy number 39, Fulci's Cat in the Brain, starring Fulci himself as a filmmaker who's struggling with his own screen violence. Again, late Fulci, which means it's not the best Fulci, but it's still Fulci fun. Again, this is a 45-minute documentary about Fulci. Cat in the Brain. Spy number 40 from 1968, The Mercenary by Sergio Corbucci. Again, a lot of fun. Starring Tony Basanti and Franco Nero. Probably should have been better than it actually is, but it's still a lot of fun, but not one of one of Corbucci's best. Let me know what you think about it if you've seen it. Next is another Corbucci. It's Navajo Joe with Burt Reynolds. This is from 1967, spy number 41. Again, another film that really ought to be better than it is. I know a lot of people like it, but I just thought it was okay. This one just is a video essay about Navajo Joe. It's fun, but could probably a bit more. Some of the later ones have slipcovers. This is Two Evil Eyes by Romero and Argento, and this is spy number 43 from 1990. And this one actually has some art cards in it. Again, good solid film. An interview with Kim Newman, an interview with second unit director Luigi Cozzi and Caroline Munro. Two Evil Eyes. Again, not Argento and Romero's finest 2 hours, but never mind. Next is one of my personal favourites, Eyeball. This is spy number 45 from 1975. This is a giallo. This is a Blu-ray DVD combo. But this is more, again, art cards, and there's a booklet as well. This is more kind of like an Agatha Christie whodunit giallo. It's Umberto Lenzi. You could argue it's his best film. Yeah, a lot of fun to be had with Eyeball. Got a great cover. A lot of fun. Next is Rats, Night of Terror, which is a post-apocalyptic. I don't actually have too many of the post-apocalyptic, but there's a lot of post-apocalyptic films in the series. Directed by Bruno Matteo. Again, this has a small booklet and a poster. This isn't a great film, but it has a wonderful ending. So if you can pick it up cheap, if you like your post-apocalyptic rat films, it's right up there. But it does have a wonderful ending. The ending is just so good. Rats, Night of Terror. Next, spine number 47 from 1989, Zombie Flesh Eaters 3, by Claudio Frasco. Yeah, not great, but again, I think I picked this up really cheaply. It's also called After Death. That's the thing with Italian zombie films, they've all got like 28 different titles. Next is A Black Veil for Lisa. This is spine number 48 from 1968. So this is an interesting film because it's almost a proto-giallo by Massimo Dallamano. And this actually stars John Mills, bizarrely. And it is a fun little proto-giallo. Because you'd often get kind of older American actors turning up in Italian genre films in the 70s and 80s even. Next, we have Killer Crocodile 1 and 2, which is spine number 50 and 51 from 1989 and 1990. And these are really enjoyable, daft fun. There's Killer Crocodile and Killer Crocodile 2, great artwork. The first one's directed by Gianetto De Rossi. The second one is Fabrizio De Angelis. They're both very silly. The effects aren't very good, but there's a wonderful spirit to them, especially the first one. Tremendous fun. Next is the Paganini Horror. This is spine number 52 from 1989, directed by Luigi Cozzi, starring Donald Pleasence, but for some reason I think they dubbed his voice. This is about a possessed house. A singer, they decide to shoot a music video in the house and bad things happen. It's all down to the house and the violin, and it's okay. It's a bit wild and wacky. And finally is 7 Bloodstained Orchids by Umberto Lenzi again. This is spine number 59 from 1972. And again, this is another fun one. But perhaps not the best you'll ever see. Again, this is a commentary by Troy Howarth, amongst other people, an interview with Umberto Lenzi, and an interview with the actress Gabriella Giorgiani. I just made her name up, sorry. Georgelli. Yeah, another fun one. And you'll be glad to know that's all my Italian collection. So that's the backlog cleared. I have watched them all. Again, I'll probably pick up a few more in the future in a sale. But for me, again, very much like the premium collection, I think a sale is the best time to pick these titles up. You know, unless you absolutely you fall in love with one of them and you desperately want it full price. But let me know how many of these you've seen, which ones you would recommend, which ones you'd recommend that I don't have in the collection that I really should. And hopefully you'll join me again as I slowly but slowly get through my backlog. This is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films saying thanks very much for watching and farewell.